And we're live!
Locke is in the house. Locke is here. If you love Locke, show Locke some love. Locke has been, as we have said many, many times, Locke has been in at law school doing law stuff.
Yeah.
So where's my camera? There. I keep looking at the microphone as if it's going to actually. Yeah, Locke is here. He's not been around for some time because he was busy studying his stuff. And Locke has passed everything. He's now on his way within a year or so of being like a full-fledged beer lawyer, protecting the beer company.
He's a law-talking guy.
Nice.
So that'd be kind of cool. By the way, big news on this end of the world. I've already got my Beer Fest tickets in September. Dave, you better get some or I'm going your butt. So, how's it going, boys?
Great. Hey, what are we drinking?
I don't know. What are we drinking? I think, Alan, you introduce.
Oh, all right, sure. I didn't pick this beer. I think Shane did. But we are drinking imported from... Where's it imported from? I didn't read up on this.
Ye merry old England.
Old Speckled Hen
England.
from the world of the UK. I think.
Merry old England's, more to the point,
I'm trying to find
Suffolk.
Suffolk. Wow, it's from the actually. Who cares? It's beer. Let's drink it. Yeah, this beer we picked actually a few weeks ago, but we chose to save the Wales instead last week or the week before. Because have we heard any updates on the Chemainus Brewery?
No, we have not.
There's been nothing. Yeah, I checked a few days back, like probably last Friday.
And we'll talk about this a little bit later. But they released all the breweries that will be attending at the Great Canadian Beer Festival this year.
Excellent.
And Riot Brewing is not on it.
Well, you know, to be honest, I mean, they've had some other things they've had to take care of because it's been a hard thing for them. But you know what? That's okay because right now we have Old Speckled Hen. Now, Old Speckled Hen is, I believe, it's called a fine ale, but I'm going to call it a ruby ale because that's the color it gives when I pour it out. But yeah, there you go. I call it a ruby. I don't know why. It's just kind of what I think.
It almost matches the color on the
That's
can.
true. It's pretty damn close. But I've had full disclosure. I drank one of these last week, and I also drank one earlier today. And it's a fine ale. So I highly recommend it. It's
my question is,
blow me away, but it is also a I guess it would go into the category of it's being an old standard, if that means anything.
Nice.
So my question is,
somehow this beer is appropriate for tonight.
Okay.
And I would like to just say cheers, Luck.
Yes.
Congrats.
oh yeah,
Cheers.
congratulations to Locke.
Clink.
And it's nice to have you back in quotes, at least for a little bit.
Yeah, nice to be back. Yeah.
So he's here in town. He came to visit about a week ago, and we've been hanging out.
How long are you staying for?
He's going back tomorrow.
Going back tomorrow at 6 a.m.
At 6 a.m. He's got to close out his apartment and all that kind of fun stuff. And so, Dave, if you got some time, you might want to pop down there to help him move his furniture. So, but Alan, you threw some stories into the back channel. What's going on? This one something about Star Wars and beer.
Yeah. So Phillips Brewing here in Victoria does this little event in the summer called Movie Under the Malt Works. And what they have is they have this backyard area where they keep all their trucks and stuff. And they'll do several events in here. They'll move all the trucks out and they bring in the public. And one thing that they do is Movie Under the Malt Works, where they show on a projector a movie, and you get a beer and something else usually to go along with it. And you watch the movie outside. And on July the 20th, it's Star Wars, the original 1970, not the original cut. Probably it's going to be the special editions, but at any rate, you can go to Phillips Brewing and watch Star Wars this summer and have a beer. with a whole bunch of probably really cool people.
I sadly will miss it, but
Same here too. Actually, I will not go, but I got something else going on that night. But whatever.
Yeah, well, Dave can go. Sure, he'll be there.
Oh yeah, easy for me to go.
Yeah, I know, Dave. You just pop down to Victoria all the time.
For sure, constantly.
But I got to say that I think the first time I ever had beer while watching a movie, like actually, and I'm not talking about a no paper cup. I'm talking about a glass of beer. Was actually at I want to say it was Cinecenter at UVic many eons ago, but I don't know for sure. I don't remember if I ever actually did. I have a picture in my head that, of course, I would drink beer at that theater. But it's actually the Rio Theater here in town, which was going to close down, but has been saved since. And by the way, not tomorrow night, but the night after, it's starting at 6:30 on Friday at the Rio Theater. I don't know why I'm plugging the Rio Theater, but they're awesome. In Vancouver, they are doing the Indiana Jones trilogy. The trilogy.
Oh, nice.
The trilogy.
Nice. Not the quadrilogy.
Not 4. They're just doing the 3, and I think it'll be kind of fun to go to. And not to mention, that's where they have beer. Although, give it up for the Fifth Avenue, which is a 19 or over theater, where you can get beer, cider, wine, and on special nights, I think you can get highballs as well and hard liquor, and you can take it into the theater and watch a movie. So
cool.
I've been there a couple of times, so I recommend it. Moving on from movies and beer, although that's a very hard topic and I could talk about it forever, but I'm sure I'd bore everybody. Great Canadian Beer Fest. This guy's got tickets. So does his sister and his parents. Both parents are coming this year. So
that's awesome. That's great.
Well, Dave,
holy!
When my mom,
how did you make that happen?
My mommy, when she comes to the beer fest and you're not there,
yes,
it says something. It really does.
Yeah, you got about a month and a half to let your boss know you're taking Friday off,
and probably Saturday too. Let's be realistic.
Yeah, it's true. So there you go. So my entire immediate family will be there, and
why would your mother want to go?
My mother said last night when she was telling my sister, because my sister said, "You want to go?" My mother's like, "Why wouldn't I go? I like beer once in a while. I'm gonna go."
So I have to say something. I have actually never seen your mother imbibe a beer, and I've known you for how many years?
A long time.
I don't think I've ever seen her drink alcohol at all.
The problem is, my mother is one of those individuals that when she imbibes a bit too much, she imbibes very particular things, usually wine, but once in a while she'll have beer. And she just decided. She actually told me this about probably 3 or 4 months ago. She said, "Are you going to that beer fest thing?" I said, "Yeah, we will be."
Beer fest thing.
Yeah, she called it the beer fest thing, and I said, "Yes, we'll be going as well." And then I probably made some crack about Dave being a wuss. But then she said, "Well, I'd like to go when the tickets go on sale. I want to go." So my parents and my sister were here last night. They said, "Hey, let's buy the tickets now." Done.
I think it's great. It's great. It's fantastic.
So, Dave, clock's ticking.
So, hey, while we're on the topic, let's talk about some of the breweries that are going to be at the event this year. So this event has grown considerably. So we kind of thought that there might be changes to the event since the Victoria Beer Week Society has taken it over, and indeed that looks like the case. So in the past few years that we've gone, they've topped out at about 65 breweries. This year there is just shy of 100 breweries at the event.
Yeah, and 96, I think, or 92, something like that.
No, it's between 90 and 100. I haven't counted them. Some say over 90, some say almost 100. So
cool.
I mean, take that for whatever you want. They have like the usual suspects from BC, of course, including some newcomers that I've never heard of before. I'm just kind of going through here quickly. Barnside Brewing, never heard of them. East Vancouver Brewing, I don't know where they're from. I'm kidding. They're from East Vancouver, of course. Howl Brewing. Monkey 9 Brewing, which is apparently in Richmond.
I'll also point out that Bose Brewing is going to be there, which is that
Ontario
brewery
from Ontario. Along with Bench Brewing
a while ago. What was the one that they were making that we wanted to go get? I can't remember.
I don't remember. Also from Ontario is Nickelbrook Brewing, which I kind of wonder if that's a play on Nickelback. We've got breweries coming from Alberta that might interest Locke. Several of them, in fact. Analog Brewing, Annex, Blindman, the Dandy Brewing Company, Dog Island, The Establishment, Last Best Brewing, Town Square Brewing. We've got some from Saskatchewan, which might appeal to Allie there, Shane. 9 Mile Legacy, Black Bridge, Multinational instead of multinational. Nokomis. We got ones from Manitoba, Torque Brewing, the usual guys from Quebec, Nova Scotia. I don't think that's ever been represented at the Beer Fest before. Two Crows Brewing, Big Spruce Brewery, Tatamagouche Brewing, and of course there's going to be two cideries as well there.
That's true. I might actually try the cideries this year because I always avoid them because beer. But I couldn't keep a straight face. What am I talking about? The cideries are fine. My mother will probably be into the cideries. So, but I am totally excited. I'm actually kind of excited about Faculty Brewing going to be there because Faculty Brewing is just a few blocks away from here. And,
they've been there years past.
They have, but I didn't know who they were until more recently, until probably about a year ago.
Right.
Because they have some really interesting beers that they generally do. A lot of beers mixed with tea that I kind of like. So yeah, they're all over the place. So I think my favorite, of course, if it's here, the London Fog Ale. There it is, number 250 from Faculty Brewing. They probably won't have that at the Beer Fest, but if they do, I'm going to get some.
If you like tea beers, Salt Spring Island Brewing makes a really good Earl Grey beer.
I think I've heard that before. I think probably because you've mentioned it.
Probably.
But I haven't had any. I need to have some. I think it's a horrible situation.
I recommend it. I recommend it.
But so basically, I think ultimately representing all of these breweries that are being represented at the festival are going to be as usual awesome. I hope there's a variety because I know a couple years we had 3 years ago it was like heavy on the sours. Not very much.
I expect we're going to see, especially from BC, a lot of the hazy IPAs. Those are going to be big again this year.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about that. I love hazy IPAs. I think from the places not in BC, we're going to see stuff from their regular lineups. We're not going to see anything special there.
Right. No, that's probably true. The right across the street, Red Truck Brewery, they have what is it? What did they have? They have a what's it called? That hazy IPA that we had yesterday, the day before.
Holland Mass.
Holland some Mass, yeah. It was quite good.
Oh, nice name.
But I don't think Red Truck is going to be there. I don't think they're on the list. No, they aren't. Which is a little weird. However, I drink them all the time, so I might avoid them even if they were there. So,
well, I mean, some of these places, especially the ones in Vancouver, the bigger ones, they won't go to an event like this because, I mean, the Whistler Beer Fest is the weekend after, which I would say is probably a bigger event now. Although, over 90 breweries, that's something that even Whistler didn't do last year. So we'll see.
How many boys were at that event in December at what was it called? I forgot.
Yeah. The Christmas craft beer show.
Yeah. How many were there? It felt like
yeah.
maybe like 20.
No, it's more than that. I would hazard a guess of maybe 50. Tops. Okay. Tops.
Yeah, I didn't.
Much smaller show.
Yeah. But Dave, the pressure's on, man. I gotta tell you, this is your year. This is the year you just get on a bus, fly, train, drive your junky car, get your butt to Victoria. You can sleep on my lap. I don't care if I have to bottle feed you. You gotta come. You gotta come, Dave. Damn it, Dave. Please come. Dave, can you hear me? Did you hear anything that I just said?
I think I caught the gist of it.
The gist of it is if you don't come, you're out of the show. That's it. You're done. You're no longer a crafty boy. I'm going to strip you of your hops jacket if we had those, which would be good. Dave's gone. Dave left.
Oh, my God.
That's what happens when you have a crappy internet connection, unfortunately.
So
a few weeks ago, we were testing his internet connection, and it's pretty bad. But anyway, he'll come back. So
okay.
You were saying?
Yeah, so I was just saying we kind of glossed over the beer here at the beginning of the show. We didn't really talk all that much about it, so maybe we should a little bit.
Locke, give us your honest opinion of Old Speckled Hen.
Right, it's a very malt forward, sort of English ale with a big body. It's just on the lighter side of Boddington's, I'd say. It's got that sort of honey back end, if you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit viscous, but it's not a nitro like Boddington's or anything. But that said, it's got a lot of similar qualities to it. For my drinking tastes, I find it's a little bit caramely for me. I could see enjoying one or two of these. An evening of them, I think, might get a little bit much. But I mean, as I said, it's something that I'd be sort of looking at more as a winter beer than a summer beer, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's something about the taste of the beer that is there. It's kind of like I don't want to say chalky, but my tongue. There's something going on with my tongue where there's a bit of an aftertaste going on that is
that's what's really poking out at me. It's right in the back of my tongue here. It's this kind of like this chalky kind of thing that I don't like it. I don't like that.
It just feels that it's not something I'm going to it doesn't make me want to like, oh yeah, great beer, open another can. Like it doesn't do that for me. It's something that is, I don't know, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that I mean overall the beer is decent. It's not terrible. It's just
it's not the worst beer that we've ever had. Do you think it's not the best
from like mass production?
I think look, my view on it, having spent a lot of time drinking English beers in England, is the real problem isn't that this isn't a good product. It's that there are more sophisticated products out there that I would go to first.
Yeah.
Theakston's Old Peculiar comes directly to mind. Trooper, for that matter. Let me think.
So let me ask you, Locke, as somebody who has been a beer drinker in England, how is this received by the public in England?
Well, you'll have it
compared to everything else.
You'll have it in corner shops,
Right.
It's standard to find it in corner shops.
So does this say that the equivalent?
I've never been to Suffolk, so maybe in Suffolk it's fantastic. But if I'm in London at a Witherspoons, will I see Old Speckled Hen on the taps? Not really. I mean, maybe once in a while, but it's not like it's London Pride or
So would
or
you say that this is Britain's equivalent to our kokanee?
mm,
No.
no, it's better than that. No
Okay.
question for that.
Okay.
No, this would be sort of like Granville Island Brewery post being bought out.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Actually, I would say probably a very similar thing about Vancouver Island Brewing, where it got bought out,
Mhm.
and for a long time, the beer, you could tell the beer's quality was going down, and I'm sure that was reflected in their sales at some point. Because I was it like 2 years later that was when they started the whole reformulating their recipes and things like that. I feel like it wasn't long, but maybe that's a bit short.
Well, I don't know if that really applies in this case, because it's not like, say, where Granville Island Brewing was bought out by some huge company. Vancouver Island Brewing was bought out by one of the partners who owns Mill Street Brewing. So I'd say it's still a pretty small place, right? I mean, Mill Street is not small. I mean, it's a pretty big company now, but still, it's not like InBev or anything like that.
No, true.
And Mill Street, I think, have stayed pretty true to their vision. I don't think I've ever seen them do anything that I think is sort of wildly.
Pardon me. They were not bought out by one of the owners of Mill Street. It was one of the owners of Muskoka.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, look, Muskoka make a reasonable product. It's nothing real fancy, but it's good, what it is.
Right.
But
Muskoka makes pretty like I mean, they're not owned by InBev or anything, are they?
No, not that I'm aware of. I mean,
No.
It's been a while since I checked, but
no, you never know these days, right?
yeah, but
one of our viewers is inquiring
Muskoka
as to
makes
where
Mad
Dave
Tom,
went.
am I right?
Keep talking, funding Dave.
I'm pretty sure Muskoka makes a product called Mad Tom, which I'm reasonably fond of, and it's
okay.
It's sort of your sort of hop forward, sort of, but big malt on it for a hop forward beer. Yeah, I don't know. As for Ontario, I'd say they were early on introducing sort of a craft approach to brewing.
Right.
They're but you'd find them at the beer store, which is statutory monopoly and all that.
So I think for the Old Speckled Hen, I'm going to speak for Shane while he's away here. We're giving it a kind of not a thumbs down, but not a thumbs up. It's kind of like right across. If it's offered to us, we'll drink it. But given all the other choices that are out there, we're probably not going to spend our money on this again, unless there's some sort of like a massive catastrophe and every other brewery is destroyed and this is all that we're left with. Which sounds like a glowing review, but that's the way it is. So while Shane is solving his tech issues over here, let's just talk about the last thing here. Are you a fan of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure movies?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the third one is coming out.
I understand that to be the case.
Yes. So they have made some casting announcements this week, and we thought I thought it would be a great idea to mention them. So the big ones are Amy Stotch, or is it Stock? I'm not sure, and Hal Landon Jr., who both played Missy and Ted's police chief father, are reprising their roles for the movie.
Okay,
which is
good.
Pretty cool. They've also brought in Saturday Night Live favorite Beck Bennett, who is replacing Fraser Bain as Ted's younger brother Deacon. And they've replaced the princesses, unfortunately. with Diane Franklin and Kimberly Cates. Now, it's not unfortunate that they're in it, but it's unfortunate that they had to replace the original.
I actually did look that up a little while ago, and it's because neither of those girls, those women, are actresses anymore. They've gone to do other things. So I'm bringing Dave back in. Hopefully, Dave is here. Dave, can you hear us? Hello, hello.
It's all good. Although we're all on standby apparently when I'm looking at the screen here, so
that's okay. We can see you, and hopefully the people
all right.
on the stream,
I can hear you guys. Yeah, tonight has just been screwy.
So
tonight has just been screwy for me. Anyways, it's you guys are like all choppy, and sometimes it's hard to hear you. I don't know if you guys are hearing the same thing.
No.
We
have good internet connections, Dave.
Yeah, that's fair.
We just were talking about Bill and Ted's 3 is coming, and Bill and Ted's 3, if you guys haven't noticed, there have been a few leaks of Bill and Ted on set doing some scenes, and the best part is if you look at John Wick, and then you look at Keanu Reeves, they look really very similar because he's basically just got either his hair is a bit longer or shorter. But on the stuff that I've seen from the Bill and Ted's 3 set, Reeves has shaved, like he's baby, butt skin kind of thing, with the hair and everything else, and it looks so weird. It just looks so strange. He's not the Keanu that we've come to know and love in his career. But I gotta say,
as long as it's not a reprise of either the Neo Keanu Reeves, or the Point Break Keanu Reeves,
I think he's gonna go all the way back to the Bill and Ted kind of guy. The best part about this film, though, is that you know how movie studios will make sequels that are just cash grabs, things of that nature. This one actually sounds like they've spent time to develop the story and to make sure the story is pretty strong, because the title is Bill and Ted Face the Music, where they are now, of course, their ages, and apparently, from what I understand, they have children now with the babes, but they have yet to write the music that will harmonize the universe and bring everything into perfect harmony. So,
Station.
I think that Station. That was so never going to catch on. But I don't know. I'm excited about it because, hey, I got to say, I'm really excited about the direct sequel, Ghostbusters 3, which is apparently coming out next summer. So,
yeah.
Locke and I the other night were watching, I forced him to watch the tail end of the movie Stripes, which basically has...
Forced me to.
Yeah, there's no force in there, is there?
So yeah, it was pretty cool to watch it, but it was fun to see Harold Ramis. That was the whole point of bringing it up, is that I don't know what it's going to be like. The only information we know is that it is being done by Reitman's son, whose name totally escapes my mind right now. Ivan Reitman. See, I can't remember anyone's names anymore. But essentially, the production crew seems to have
just make up a name,
some life. Joe Biden. No, so there's hopefully some life in it, and I hope that for a Ghostbusters movie, I hope there's some life in it. Anyway, I certainly hope that
it would be hilarious.
Same feeling from having some of the original crew.
It would be hilarious if the first 5 minutes was like the original cast and everything, and then they passed it off to an all-female crew.
I'm out. I heard with the female crew. I did not mind that at all. What I minded after punishing myself and actually watching that film is that it was just a really bad film. Because Ghostbusters was about some dudes that needed to pay their rent. That was what the movie was about. They came up with an idea, They happened to be scientists. They decided they could do this, and they did it because they wanted to make money to survive in New York. But that Ghostbusters film was not that at all. It was, let's take some very talented, funny women, put them into this movie, and then just let them run rampant, which works great for parodies, which works great for things like
maybe it was a parody of Ghostbusters.
Maybe it was.
Better have been, because otherwise, yeah, I mean, it was so gaggy. It was that same thing you see in like what was the news anchor one, Anchorman. That sort of humor doesn't belong in my Ghostbusters universe. That kind of humor doesn't belong, because that is what hurt that film more than the fact that there were women in the lead roles.
There's a reason that Ghostbusters was successful when it was successful, and that was that it was doing something that nobody else was doing.
True.
Nobody did it before. I don't know if anybody's really done it since.
Not really, no.
Which is this, that they were going to do a comedy / horror film, and the scares were going to be real scares, and the special effects were going to be real special effects, but the comedy was also going to be real comedy.
Yeah. If you actually want to see a real sequel of the Ghostbusters movies, go and buy the Ghostbusters video game that came out about 6 years ago or so.
Much longer than that.
I'm trying. I don't recall.
For that matter, as a spiritual successor, I have to recommend The Frighteners.
No, I agree. Oh, The Frighteners. Yes.
Okay.
But Michael J. Fox.
Where does Army of Darkness rank up there with like comedy horror?
Oh.
So they got there another way. They were trying to make a real horror film, and it was so bad that it ended up being a comedy horror film.
Yeah.
And then when they realized that they'd made a comedy horror film, they were like, okay, let's actually try to make a comedy horror film, which they did. And then they did it again, and then they put it on TV. And I mean, look, ultimately, it's a different genre of comedy, because that wasn't really about chills. That was about splatter.
Yeah, that's true. And the best part, the thing I like about the Evil Dead series in general is how the first few.
Sorry, press the wrong button. Oh, and while we're on the topic of horrors and comedies, just very quickly here, because we're running a little bit long. So the Banana Splits, who that we all watched when we were kids. Okay, so this is a Hanna-Barbera property featuring 4 loony characters that had these hijinks in a clubhouse, and they would introduce cartoons and stuff like that. And now there's a movie coming out called the Banana Splits movie that features the same 4 characters doing the same thing in a clubhouse, introducing cartoons, but they're murdering people. Like what?
They're like,
what the hell?
They're animatronic creatures that somehow come to life to try to wipe out people.
Humanity.
Which there's a series of video games called Five Nights at Freddy's that came out a few years back, and it's had what seems to me like to be a dozen sequels. But it's about animatronics at night that decide that they want to unite with humanity or kill people. I don't know, whatever the point is. But I could totally see that is most likely, if I haven't read this, but I suspect that's where the inspiration came from, because it was either that or Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, who wants to be scared of Chuck E. Cheese?
What a great way to bring back interest to like an old property, though, right? I mean,
before
fantastic.
we were all born, the thing ran from 68 till 70. I mean, and then of course it was in reruns, but
it was in reruns through the like mid 80s.
Yeah. But by the way, I believe I might have this wrong, but the entire first season was directed by Richard Donner, who of course went on to make the Christopher Reeve Superman films. So
it wasn't the entire season. It was the first season of Danger Island.
Oh right, yeah, because they had the whole funny, that's right. Danger Island. Okay, what were they? Danger Island,
the Arabian Nights.
And I want to say Johnny Quest, but that's not it. Google it now because we need to know. It's going to bug me otherwise.
No.
But,
I think you might be right. It might.
The other day, I was like, "Oh my
It's
god,
not
yes,
Johnny
I
Quest.
remember
It's not
Danger
Johnny
Island.
Quest. But it's that one where with the scientists and they're in the car and they make themselves miniaturized and go around and do little learning things.
Yeah, I know. I can see it. I cannot remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're about 10 minutes over our time. But I gotta say, first of all, and by the way, because it's only been a month ago, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Because we as a show missed his birthday, but that's all right. What was that?
That was slight applause. That was applause.
Was that the slight applause?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So if you like what you see here, which of course you do, and of course you'll always want to come back every single week, you can do all the things that all the people do on the social media thing, where you say things like, "I'm going to subscribe," and "I'm going to click the bell," and I'm also going to make sure I tell 5 friends this week about how awesome the Crafty boys are, because we are this close to taking down the Crafty girls. This close. And of course, if you don't know who the Crafty girls are, we don't really either because we don't watch them. But they have like 8 trillion subscribers, and we've got 5.
None.
So, this close. But thank you again, everybody, for being here. Make sure to go pick up some Old Speckled Hen if you want to be, pleased, but not overly pleased. And because
Ringing endorsement.
it's just
Save
good
it,
beer.
Save it for winter.
Save it for winter. Yeah, keep it really cold.